We got the moon creating a womb and Virgo at the moment. So this is a new way and a new time to go ahead and, of course, start reacting and responding towards being organized, being down to earth, making it look perfect because everything gotta be perfect, perfectionist in this perspective. And also we got the sun and Leo. So this is gonna be the area where you're shining light in that area. So the moon needs you to react and respond towards harmonious vibes, cleaning yourself, and worrying about the right things. Now, if you're in an equation or a spectrum of worrying about the wrong things at the moment, then of course you're shaking hands with demons, and you're gonna be basically creating new relationships with demons when the moon get in Libra. Now, if you're worrying about the right things, then of course you're gonna be shaking hands with angels, and you'll be pretty much creating new relationships with angels during this time. So you gotta basically pick and choose in this world. You want to be worrying about the wrong shit, or you want to be worrying about shit that's gonna actually make things go in your favor. See, remember, your life is all about you. Your life is what you make it, not what nobody else makes it or creates it for you. Feel me? The moment you came out that womb was the moment you're supposed to keep your childlike natures. The moment you got washed up with all the society BS and all the negativity of the society, this is the situations where you get wiped up in society's BS and all your childhood natures is basically being robbed from you, which means you're taking all your childlike resources and you using it for shit that they want to basically create for their own purposes while they sit back, watch you struggle. And it's not even about that perspective, but always know when you come in this world, you're supposed to be the shit. You're supposed to act out accordingly, no matter how shit plays out, no matter what day is thrown at you. Yeah, you're gonna have to rock with all those obstacles. You're gonna have to put up a fight. You're gonna have to protect yourself. You're gonna have to protect your God. But if this plays out into a situation, then you gotta always know that you create the situations. You sit in that situation, not you basically having situations go and the spectrums of you basically being undeniable and you not basically moving accordingly. You can't just sit down in one spot. You got to keep moving. You got to keep grasping. You got to be ready to spiritually spar. And then it takes us to the moon and Virgo. So pretty much in this area right here, you need to go ahead and, of course, start coming up with new ways of worrying, being organized, harvesting, being consistent, being practical, being down to earth. And of course, it's a grand trine right now. So you got Pluto, you got Taurus, yeah, you got Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. So you need to be taking power control over where you got wherever you got Pluto at. You need to be basically coming out with your spiritual natures, being passionate towards your stability, your safety, your security, and of course, putting time and energy towards that where the Taurus is at. And Moon and Virgo right now. You need to be worrying about the right shit, worrying about how to correlate, and of course, get everything organized so you can go ahead and, of course, moving forward and keep pushing forward so you can collect the right fruits and natures and vegetables on the moon. It's a Pisces. Now, if you got Virgo in your first house, you're going to have the power and control to go ahead and, of course, take full power control, develop a new way to get organized with your personal life, your personal caterings, your personal ways of being disciplined, your personal ways of worrying about your personal aspects, your personality, your personal traits, your personal appearance, your personal individualistic natures. Now, what's going to pose you is going to be that your Neptune and your seventh house, aka relationships that you establish, which may makes you go to the extremes of course, overindulgent or manifesting overindulgence from other individuals that's pretty much trying to take you off your personal aspects, personal life. But you got to look between the veil to pretty much see how these individuals are affecting your first house and how you can kind of like correspond with it in a different way. I mean, because every day is a challenge. Now, if you got to see your second house, you can place it to an area and a location of having a new way to come up with a new way to being valued, stable, practical, and down to earth, and of course, putting patience and time towards organizing your things you value, being consistent in these areas, and of course, setting certain boundaries and limits when it comes to your ways of spending, developing your resources. But you're gonna also go have the gift to do this as well too. Try to now watch out for your eighth house. Your eighth house might try to take shit from the things you value, appreciate. Feel me? These energies can work in your best favors, or they can kind of like take you off course. So be aware of that perspective. Now, if you got this in your third house, feel me, you're gonna also put yourself into an area and location of learning how to think and communicate in an organized, very detail-oriented perspective. Feel me? So that means you need to go ahead and, of course, get your environment, your surroundings, things in your environment, your surroundings, organize these things so they can basically be catered towards how you can develop yourself and, of course, get you from point A to point B. And watch out, your ninth house is gonna kind of like oppose your third house, your environment, your surroundings and shit. So watch out for the individuals that you kind of like bring within your environment, your surroundings and shit like that as well. Try not to pretty much try not to go towards unfamiliar territories. So, Not this time. Now, also, if you got this in your fourth house, you're gonna have opportunities to go ahead and, of course, come up with a new way of dealing with your feelings and emotions of home, privacy, separating from the world, retreating with home, family, or individuals about your home and family, or developing a way of building and grounding yourself towards your home and your family. Pretty much just a representation of taking care of your responsibilities, washing your clothes, washing the dishes, being clean, being neat, being organized. For me. Now you do your rituals and your spells towards areas that's gonna make you feel comfortable and organized. Now it can kind of like oppose you and kind of like get into your fourth house. It's gonna be your status, your reputation, which is your Neptune and Pisces. Dreams, illusions, when it comes to your status and reputation, kind of like mix and mingle with your fourth house. It's kind of like a opposition here in this area as well too. So trying to be swiped up underneath that area. Try to like have some self realization when it comes to your home, and you'll be. All right, so we got this transit in the sky at the moment. So if you got Virgo in your fifth house, you need to come up with a new way of expressing yourself when it comes to your work, health, and routines, or your hobbies during this time too. Try to blend a little bit of those two in at the moment for me. Try to express yourself more when it comes to your creativity and when it comes to your gifts, your internal gifts. Now, what's can kind of like take you off course in this area is going to be your 11th house, your associations and the things you associate yourself with. Make sure these associations don't take you off your task during this time when it comes to expressing yourself. For me, this time you need to express yourself, not be with individuals or associate with individuals. You need to basically be self-centered. You need to be the one that's shining and expressing yourself. I mean, not being mix and mingle with everybody at the moment. I mean, but it's kind of cool to blend both just a little bit. But of course, your fifth house is what you're focused on. So express yourself. Express where you're gonna be worrying about expressing yourself. Now, if you got this in your sixth house, you're gonna have the power and control to go ahead and, of course, come up with a new way of developing a work health routine or a system or a task or a project that you can kind of like contain and marinate during this time. Now, it's going to take you away from your perspective and your persona. It's going to be someone or something in your 12th house. Your dream, you're going to have a certain dream that can kind of like take you off task or make you or misdirect your tasks and duties, or you may basically overdream a lot. Yeah, you may fuck up your routine. Now, if you got to see in seventh house, you're gonna have some ups and downs dealing with your relationships and your ways of relating. You need to organize your relationships, or you're gonna be worrying about your relationships, or manifesting a whole lot of worrying energy when it comes to your ways of relating. Now, what's gonna oppose you is gonna be yourself. You could be your worst enemy during this time. So try to sit back, or try to sit back, reflect, and you're gonna be at eighth house. You're gonna be basically coming up with a new way of worrying deeply about your desires and your passions and your motives. What's gonna take you off course is gonna be someone or something that you value, or a resource or material. I can get you washed up during that time. You got to see your ninth house. You're gonna be pretty much coming up with a new way of worrying about your experiences and your moralities and your principles and your beliefs and your faiths. Now it's gonna kind of like take you off task. It's gonna be someone or something that's in your environment or your surroundings that can kind of like try to trip up and mix up and mingle within your ninth house. And if you got this in your 10th house, you're going to be coming up with a new way of pretty much worrying about your status, your responsibilities, and how you're seen in the world. now, now be aware of this because someone or something that's in your home can kind of like destroy your status and your reputation over the time. So be aware of that. Now, if you got this in your 11th house, you're going to be pretty much worried about the associations, worrying about your groups, worrying about your friends, worrying about your gang, or worrying about your organizations over this time. Now, be aware because your fifth house is your fun, your creativities, and your endeavors can kind of like blend in with each other and mix things up during this time. And if you got this in your 12th house, you're gonna be pretty much on the opposite end when it comes to worrying about your dreams, fantasies, and illusions. And what's gonna kind of like take you off task is gonna be your work or your 9 to 5. So be aware of that.